Hello, boils and ghouls, and everyone creepy in between. This is another episode of Average Ghost Mom Podcast. Well. So today is the start of hopefully a successful new segment. Um, I have been asking for you guys to send in some listener stories to hear some personal tales about anything. Literally anything. And I have an email for you guys today. I'm very excited. I have not read it yet. So, this will be the first time for both of us listening, reading, hearing a personal story from a listener. So, I am so excited. I am so ready to just jump right in. Okay, let me give y'all a really quick update on things going on. Okay, so um it is Easter weekend. We have his family in, we have his nieces and his parents are in, and on Saturday we're going to do a big Easter get together. Because also this year, Easter falls on Josh's birthday, so we're also going to do a little birthday celebration. And then after the big Easter lunch with his family, we're going to drive over to my friend's town, which is about 30, maybe 45 minutes away, depending on traffic. And we're going to go celebrate my friend's husband's, who is also my friend. I don't know. Like, is it disrespectful to say my friend's husband or just my friend's husband? I don't know. We're celebrating his birthday too, because his birthday is this coming week. So we're doing a birthday dinner for him. So, ugh, hopefully this will be the end of all of the crazy busy mayhem, because if it's not one thing, it's another thing. But hopefully things are going to be slowing down for me and I can finally get like a chance to breathe and not feel like I'm falling behind in everything. So it's going to be good. I'm trying a new recipe. It's a birthday cake pie recipe. Basically, you take a block of cream cheese, a tub of whipped topping, and a packet of instant pudding mix. Mix it together, throw in some sprinkles, throw in some vanilla and almond extract for flavor, put it in a pie crust, and let it chill until it's firm, and then bada bing, bada boom. So I got an Oreo pie crust, and I'm going to do two pies, two birthday cake pies. I'm going to have one regular with the Oreo crust, and the other one I'm putting strawberries on. And this is one of a couple surprises for Josh. So I'm doing this for him for tomorrow, and he doesn't know. Well, yeah, I'm doing this for him for tomorrow, for Easter celebration tomorrow, for his birthday part of the celebration lunch. And he doesn't know it yet. So I am excited to see if this does taste good or if it's a total flop. But either way, I'm making that. I'm also making banana bars. I'm doing two sets. I'm doing a regular batch and I'm doing a batch with walnuts, bringing that to Easter lunch. And then I'm also bringing the dinner rolls for Easter lunch. So, very excited. I'm excited to try the new recipe. I'm excited to see what the rest of the family thinks about the banana bars because really only Josh's parents and his aunt and uncle have had them. So we're going over to his aunt's house, which means everybody's going to be there. So this is like the test. This is going to be it. And I'm kind of worried because I have okay, so since I make my own butter, that also comes with you get buttermilk out of that because as the heavy whipping cream is mixing, it separates into butter and um oh my gosh, my brain always does this when I put it on the spot. Buttermilk. Gee Willy. I can hear all the people in their cars. Buttermilk. Sorry. It separates into butter and buttermilk, so I have like I don't want to call it natural buttermilk, but like or I don't want also want to say homemade. I have homemade buttermilk. I don't know. But I have that in my fridge. And so I don't know, do I use buttermilk in my banana bar recipe? Because it says you can either use banana or banana milk. Did I say banana milk before? I don't know. I just need you guys to know what I'm saying. I just need you to understand what I'm saying. I can either use buttermilk or make sour milk, which is just I think it's a 3/4 cup milk with 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and then you let it sit for 5 minutes. Like, it's something to do with, like, it's just you just gotta get, like, thick milk. It's not just thick milk. It's, like, the chemicals that make it, but either way, you can use either or. And I always usually go with sour milk because I don't make enough things that I need buttermilk for, so I don't just keep buttermilk on hand. And because you literally only need 3/4 of a cup buttermilk for a batch of banana bars, like, you can only purchase buttermilk in, like, a whole, like, half gallon. And I'm like, "That's way too much buttermilk for the amount of buttermilk that I use in a year." Like, purchasing 1 half gallon would last me 10 years of baking anything because I don't use buttermilk. But now I have this fresh homemade buttermilk, and I'm like, "Whoa," because I'm making butter, and I'm like, "So this time for family Easter, do I use my buttermilk that I have, or do I stick to what I know tastes good and just keep doing sour milk?" So, I think for Easter, I'm just gonna stick to sour milk, and I can try, like, an extra batch and do buttermilk for, like, at home to see how that goes. Just because, like, how is it gonna alter the flavor, the taste, the texture? Oh, also, on next Tuesday, his boss is doing a little Easter, I think it's Easter dinner, yeah, it's gonna be Easter dinner at his house after work. So, I am also making banana bars for that. Um, and I'm excited because, he has creeping purple Jew at his house, and I think I get to have, like, a clipping of it. I think he's gonna let me propagate his purple Jew, which I'm so excited for because purple Jew is so freaking easy. I mean, you just stick it in the ground, make sure it stays wet, that's it, you know? That's, like, how you think a plant should be. Just make sure it's moist, and it will grow and it'll creep. It's a very low-laying plant, so my goal is to get all of the red wood chips from in front of my house into the back part of my house, and then get all the rocks that are in the back of my house and put them in the front because there's an area of just, like, really, really white rocks, and so I think by swips I say swip swapping, get over it. I think by swip swapping it, having the white rock in the front yard with the white house, but then, like, the creeping purple Jew on top of it, I think that's gonna look really pretty. Like, just saying. So, I'm excited to go to their house next Tuesday for Easter dinner because they're such a fantastic group of people. I love any time that they do, like, a work, quote, unquote, "party" or a work meal, but it's the work ones that you get to invite family to, because, like, they do some, like, meeting meal kinds of things where it's like, okay, it's only like, employees only. So they'll go out and they'll do that, but the ones where it's like, "Oh, yeah, bring your spouse, bring your kids." Oh my gosh, his boss is so awesome, his boss's wife is so nice, like, and so really it's a super small family-ran company. Like, the owner, the boss is the dad and his wife, and then their son and their nephew, and then it's Josh, and that's it. It's just them 3. Oh, I think technically his other nephew works there too, but, no, it's super duper small company, but it's awesome. Like, the perks of having a small company is that, like, you can do things like this. You can do these small outings at in more intimate restaurants, like, we went to Baumhauer's once, and, like, if you had, like, a huge company, you'd have to rent out, like, the whole place, and that would be so costly, or get catering, but the food isn't as good when you cater as it is, like, coming fresh off the grill to your table, you know? So, and it's awesome. It's great. I'm loving the perks of having a really, really small, uh, family business like this. But anyway, so yeah, I'm excited for Easter celebration, I'm excited for birthday party celebration, I'm excited for other Easter celebration because all of this is just a delicious food. Like, his aunt knows how to cook. She's super good. His uncle knows how to grill. He knows how to work that barbecue. Ooh, anything he throws down is so, so good. And same with his boss. Like, he goes on and on about how good his boss's wife is at cooking and baking and stuff. So I'm excited to see what that's gonna be about. I think he did say that they're probably just gonna get, like, some catering a little bit, but I would imagine that his wife probably will make something. And then especially since I'm bringing banana bars, like, I'm excited. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. Ah! So, anywho, let's get on with the listener stories. Oh, also, in case you're able to tell a difference in the, quality of audio that you're hearing, I was on the TikTok shop and I found a little good deal, like you usually can on the TikTok shop, on some microphones. So I purchased some mini mics. So now I'm not recording off my phone microphone. I am recording on a mini mic. And it's the little mini Bluetooth ones. It's nothing high tech or special, really. It's just I got one set for my phone, so when I make like TikTok videos, it's it's way better quality than recording with my phone microphone. And I did a couple little test runs with this, and it sounds really good. So I hope that this episode works out. Um, and hopefully my mic doesn't die because I straight up took it right out of the package, plugged it in, and started like recording this episode. So we'll see about that. Okay. Oh, one last thing. I am aware, at least that on YouTube, I think it's my third episode, something happened to the audio halfway through, and I have to admit 100% I'm a horrible person. I haven't listened to it yet. So, but I was informed by a good friend of mine that on YouTube, that should be the third episode, that the audio cuts out halfway through and you only get like the first like 30 minutes. So I don't quite know what's up with that. I can try and see if I can figure it out and get it fixed, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, so I would just like to share I'm on Apple Podcasts. I know only Apple users can get Apple Podcasts, so I'm pretty sure only Apple users. I don't know of any other way of people like with Androids to get Apple Podcasts. But I'm also on Spotify, and Spotify is free. Now, granted, I know Spotify is free in the US. I have no idea what it's like over in Europe. And that's just where my friend who let me know that YouTube isn't working happens to live. So, if you're able to get Spotify, um, it is free. But again, I don't know if Europe allows for Spotify. I'm just a simple-minded American. I'm sorry. But either way. All right, let's go. Okay. Here we are, unanimous. Podcast story. Dear Kristana, I find your podcast very interesting. Since you asked for stories, I thought I would try. I am realizing over the last several years that I have different experiences that not everyone has. I'm trying to figure them out tentatively. I'm also figuring out that I have had them since I was a child and didn't know it. Ooh. When I was a kid, about 8 to 12 years old, I had a dream. I was on a gravel road. It was an area familiar to me at that time. There were farms, houses, fields, and prairie grasses all around me. Where the location of the sun was, I knew it was mid-afternoon. I was facing west towards an intersecting road. On that road, heading from the right, was a car. It was an older style blue boat of a car with a white top, and it drove by. That was the end of the dream. I had that dream a few times as I aged. Didn't think anything of it. Sometime in my 20s, I found myself actually on that road. I was walking to an old friend's house when I looked to my right and saw a car driving down the intersecting road. When it came through the intersection, it was an older style blue boat of a car with a white top. At the exact time My third eye replayed a dream. I looked at my watch. It was during the 3 o'clock hour. It was weird, but my dream came true. Ooh. That's some That's a form of deja vu when you have dreams and then later your dreams come true. Because I know there's a couple different forms of deja vu. So I know one of them is dreams. One of them is kind of like um when you're like awake and conscious and like experiencing the world, and then kind of just like the familiarity sits in, and you're kind of like, whoa, hold on, I've been here before. When I have deja vu, that's generally what I have is while I'm experiencing life, the scene kind of just suddenly shifts and is like, hey, I've been here before. My body has been making this exact motion in this exact place with these exact sounds, colors, times, feelings around it. Weird. So that's cool. You have the dream deja vu. Okay. I just assumed it happens to everyone and didn't think any more about it. In 2022, I had a very vivid dream. My husband and I were at a restaurant trying to get seated. The background is weird. It was all dark wood all over. The windows were frosted glass, so I couldn't see out. It seemed like it was morning time by the brightness, like 9:30, 10 o'clock time frame. The waitress was trying to seat us, but they were all full. I remember standing, and then we were seated in a wooden booth across from an ornate wooden bar. The female staffer and a male staffer were there at our table, and they were very upset at us. I don't know why. No one talks in my dreams. I just feel their emotions. I also can't see their faces clearly. Not only were the two staffers at our table mad at us, but so was the whole restaurant. Oh my gosh. The other guests and staff. I don't know why. I remember we got up to leave since people were mad at us, and that was the end of the dream. I remember waking up feeling distressed over having people mad at me, and I couldn't explain why. 8 months later, I had that dream again. It went exactly the same way, but I remember thinking at the end that I needed to change it. Days later, I kept thinking and wondering if it wasn't like my blue car dream when I was a kid. Something might happen when I'm awake, and I want to change the ending so they're not mad at us. I just don't know when it's going to happen. In 2023, my husband and I went on vacation. It was the late evening, 8, 9 o'clock p.m. We were hungry and exhausted and trying to find a place with no wait time. We found a place with plenty of available seating. The hostess sat us at the booth and we were waiting for our server. I looked around and noticed they had a big, beautiful glass window with great views. Not much to see in the dark. Most of the seating was wooden booths, and wood covered the ceiling and the bar area that was across from us. Our waiter came to take our drink order. My husband asked about a specific liquor, and the waiter started to go through the lengthy drink selections. My husband tried to politely stop him, but the man was on a mission. So my husband said, shh. Oh my gosh. The guy, stunned that that happened, excused himself and left the table. Then my third eye showed me my dream. The sunny frosted windows and the daytime vibe switched to the evening setting while the dream was running like a movie in my head. And I couldn't change the unhappy ending. Dang it. Oh my gosh. Imagine, I could not imagine telling my waiter, first of all, politely trying to stop him. I could never. I could never. I could not be like, sir, sir, can you please shut the fuck up? Please. Okay. I know that wasn't polite, but but then getting to the point where you're just like, shh, 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 shh. The bartender came over and took our orders. The guy came back and chewed my husband out for shushing a man. Oh my gosh. Also, sorry. Again, didn't have my laptop volume silenced, and I'm on a third party mic, so that probably got picked up that time. Then he went to the kitchen and proceeded to talk bad about us to the entire staff. We saw and heard. Our drink and food orders came out wrong. We didn't complain. It was late and we were very exhausted and just wanted to get back to the hotel. I don't know what other dreams I had that might come true. After the last one, I don't want to know. I hope this helps your podcast and listeners. Maybe someone can relate. Thanks so much, unanimous number one. First of all, let me interject myself and say, yes, I'm going to say the word unanimous, not anonymous, and you can suck it if you have a problem with that. Because I know somebody will. Whether they make a comment publicly or they turn around in the bedroom and look at me and say, "Babe, it's not unanimous, it's anonymous." You can suck it, Josh. Um, second, holy moly, that's crazy. To have it happen twice, not only to have it happen twice, but for each time to have some length of time. Ah, the first one being so long, that's crazy that your third eye was able to remember and bring up your dream as it happened, and you're able to, like, replay that. I wonder what kind of feeling that must have had. Like, what did your body feel? Like, not necessarily your brain, but, like, surely, like, your muscles had to have been like, "Whoa, hold on, hold the phone, hold on to your butts. What is going on?" But then on top of it, for your second one to include your husband, so this isn't, like, just you, this is, like, you and, like, another person, and you can't necessarily control the other person and what they do and what they how they react, and so even if you would've, like, caught it in time, like, even if you would've realized, oh, like, when you walked into the restaurant, "Oh, this looks exactly like oh you know, oh god, everyone was mad at us, like, what hap okay, hold on." Like, there's no way to be able to control the actions and feelings of other people who were not well, no, your husband was in the second dream, but I don't know, between, like, your husband and then the wait staff, like, oh, that's crazy. That's so crazy. I wonder where you guys were. What did you guys get? I mean, you don't have to respond to me. I get it. It's okay. But what did you guys what did you order? How is it messed up? Also, why didn't the waiter take a hint? Like, first of all, walking into a restaurant at 8 or 9 o'clock, that's probably, like, an hour or 2 before they close. Best, at best, you know? So first of all, you walked in when there got like half the grills running. So half of this was kind of on you. But at the same time, look, wait staff, they're not here for the full experience. Not if they're coming in at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. Like, take a chill pill. They don't want to be here as much as you don't want to be here. Lord. And then maybe don't give the whole long list. Maybe just say, here's like 5 or 6 because what these people aren't going to know what you have on tap, you know? Your list, your thing could change all the time. It probably does. Most places that have things on tap, things change, you know? Maybe you should only give your customers like the easy things to make and clean when it's that late at night. Still, that crazy. I love it. Thank you so much. Unanimous number 1, which means no one else can take unanimous number 1, or else I'm gonna think it's the same person, and we can't have that, now can we? No, I won't know it's the same person because I know the email address, and I'll be able to tell if it's them or not. Pardon me as I take a drink of my body armor. Here's an unsponsored ad. Drink body armor. It has superior hydration, except for my sister. My sister should not drink body armor because it has coconut water, and she's allergic to coconut. So that would be almost a death sentence for her if she drank body armor. So everyone but my sister drink body armor. Golly goodness gracious, that was crazy. Okay. So far, that's the only email that I've had written in. That's the only personal story, which I am so grateful and thankful for. Thank you so much, unanimous number 1. Like, if you have anything else that you can think of, or if you have like friends who have stories, send them in, write them into me. Pardon me. Okay. So I figured since they wrote in about that, I could share some of my personal stories. So I do have some personal ghost stories that I would love to share with you guys. Let's see. I know, okay, I have one of them very vividly. Should I do ghost stories? No, maybe I should do a dream story. Maybe I should do a dream story. None of my dreams come true, so they're not quite like this, but I have had some very terrifying dreams. I'm trying to think of the most recent one that I had. Um, I had a very scary one. So, one for me, okay, I can share two kind of. So, I do have reoccurring dreams. Ooh, I just remembered one of my Oh, okay, hold on. Some of them are starting to come back to me. Okay. I don't dream very often as an adult. Actually, in my whole life, I've never really dreamed often, and if I have, I didn't remember it. Interesting fact, one thing that my grandma on my dad's side always said is that you dream every night, you just don't always remember your dreams. Like, she wholeheartedly believed every night you have a dream, but when you wake up, you just don't remember it sometimes. So, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." I don't believe that now as an adult. Sorry, grandma. But to each their own, you know? 'Tis what 'tis. So, one of my reoccurring dreams is I have this crazy, scary tornado dream. Um, and it's kind of progressed. It used to just be like I'm driving in my car and I'm in basically like the Midwest. I don't wanna, like, sit here and say, "Oh, it's Nebraska, it's Iowa, it's Ohio, it's Kansas." It'd probably be Kansas out of all of those, honestly, but either way, it's very, very open pastures, like, very little trees. I'm talking, like, this is where the Dust Bowl happened kind of place, and my tornado dreams are always kind of, like, black and white or, like, a grayscale. Um I'm driving, very hilly, very open, and I'm telling you, like, you're going up and over just all of these hills, and as every time you get up to the top of a hill, I kinda just scan the horizon, and there are so many tornadoes, huge tornadoes, very black tornadoes, kind of like, if any of you guys have seen, Disney's I think it's 1997, Hercules. The scene when the battle scene that's towards the end, when Hades releases who are the super bad guys? It's not the gods, it's, is it not the Olympians? No, I can't think of it. But when Hades releases the super duper bad guys from Tartarus, one of them is that tornado. They all are kind of like super hold on. They're all kind of like really super exaggerated like that. Um, so they're all like very, very big at the top, close to towards the clouds, and they all come down. They're very large, but then when they touch the ground, they're very, very small. And they are just all over the place. I'm talking like 15, 20 tornadoes. And most of the time my dream is I'm just driving and I see that and I'm very, very fearful, extremely fearful that like one of these things is gonna suck me up if I just keep driving. Or if I don't keep driving. So it's always, do I keep driving and just hope that like none of them cross my path? Or do I stop and stand still and hope that none of them come towards me? You know? Well, finally one time it progressed and I got into a school. Um, it's like a 35-story school, and the room, like the first floor, every floor is only as big as like one classroom and then the stairwell. So I make it into this school. I go up quite a few stories and I'm just sitting there. And the school catches on fire because a tornado is ripping up around it. And and I remember being lifted up by the tornado and being set back down, but not just I'm like the school dropping out of the sky and I land. And that's when I woke up. And that was the very first time that I had actually got picked up by a tornado. because I've had these tornado dreams very frequently over the past 5 years, probably like 2 or 3 times a year is when I'd have these tornado dreams. And then to finally get picked up by it, very, very scary. I also have another reoccurring dream. I haven't had it in a while, but I still remember it very vividly that I'm in this, I have walked into this ginormous mansion, okay? And it's a very dark, it's either not lit at all and there's only light coming in from like the front door, or it's extremely low lit. Um, and you walk in, and either your option is to go straight down the stairs, but I'm talking these stairs are probably like 20, 30 feet wide. So it's like a huge, grand kind of staircase. Either go down the stairs to these bedrooms that are on either side of you, or kind of turn left or right and go up and around the grand staircase. Because like when you walk in, it's a very, it's like the whole house from top to bottom floor is just open. It's just one ginormous, huge, like normal house size open room. And you either go down or you kind of go up and around. So every time in the dream, I go downstairs. I never go up and around to like the second floor. So go downstairs. And on my left is three extremely vivid colored rooms. It's on my left and it's on my right, but the colors are all different. I know I can't remember the order and I can't remember which room is on which side, but I know there's a red room, and I'm talking like velvet red, extremely bright red, and everything in that room is that color. I'm talking the bedding, the pillows, the walls, the ceiling, the carpet, the rugs, the blankets, the doors, everything is this bright colored red. Um, there's that color. There's a green, and sometimes it's kind of like a lime green, like a dull lime green, but sometimes it's like St. Patrick's green. And it's the same thing. Ceiling, walls, carpet, bedding, pillow, blankets, dresser, uh doors, lampshade, everything is this color. So red, green, I know there's a purple, I know there's a yellow and a black, and there might be a white. Um, and I remember if you continue down the stairs past all the rooms and continue to like underneath the house, basically, um, it's a kind of like a very dark greeny mustard, or like a kind of like almost like a vomit olivey color. And I have only ventured in my dream to that back area once. And that back area, when I was walking into it, was kind of like a large open bedroom kind of style. Like it wasn't a room, it was just like the house was just open, but it had a bed and it had like a chase lounge and it had like a tall lamp and a coffee table. But I remember like walking past that. I remember walking up to it and I remember thinking, oh, this is very dark energy. And I remember walking past that and walking and it turned into the basement of the bowling alley. I have no idea what I have and haven't told you guys, but my parents used to own a bowling alley. So there was a basement to this bowling alley and it was totally haunted. This bowling alley, 100% haunted. I will tell you the stories. That's the story I was debating on. If I have time in this episode, I'll tell you the story of the time that I had an interaction. Um, I think actually I've had two interactions, possibly. But either way, if I have time, I'll tell you about those. But this open room turned into the basement of the bowling alley, and immediately was like, no, 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 no. Like, this is not a safe space. This is not a good spot. I need to leave. I need to get out of here. This is dangerous. There is so much evil and and dement not dimension, but like there's just so much danger from the energy in this part. I need to exit immediately. So I leave that area. I start to come back up. I'm going past the rooms, and like two or three of them, I can't remember which colors anymore because it's been a very long time since I've had these dreams. But two or three of them are like haunted. One of them is like a goofy poltergeist haunt where like it's kind of more of like a ghost is in there picking up the lamp and the pillows, and it's kind of just like, ooh, look at me. I'm picking up a lamp, but you can't see me. So the lamp is floating. It's a poltergeist. Blah. Don't come in here or you'll get poltergeisted. Ooh, like it was like a very kind of I couldn't hear that, but the vibe of seeing this lamp wiggle and go up and down is like the vibe that I got. It was like a very silly, like not demonic or serious or harmful haunting, just kind of more of like an annoyance. Kind of like a more of like, "Bleh, don't come in here, please. Pick any other room. Don't come into my space. I won't fuck with you." But like I would very much appreciate it. But then I remember walking past one of the rooms and it was like a demonic haunting. Like I think I remember trying to go in there because I was like, "Oh, well, if that ghost is kind of silly, then maybe this one isn't that bad." And I remember walking into the bedroom and sitting on the bed and just the dread and the guilt and the anxiety and the suicidal tendency that came over me, or suicidal thought feelings that came over me in that room. I was like, something is in here and it's trying to hurt me. It wasn't as evil as the basement room thing, but it was definitely not a safe place for me to be at. And I wish I could remember the colors because I wonder if like later in life if these colors have any sort of like correlation, because I have certain feelings that are associated to certain colors and textures for me. It's really weird. I've never told anybody this. I've only ever told Josh this, but certain feelings for me I have correlated to certain colors and textures. Um and it's really interesting. And I wish I could like put it in a picture, but I can't. I could try and describe some of them to you, maybe like a different time, but I wish I could just like take a photograph of it so that way like you can see this is what's happening in my brain. Like when I feel this feeling like immensely when it's like a very um saturated feeling, I see these images in my head. These colors and these textures doing a certain movement is what it feels and what I see in my head. It's actually kind of cool sometimes. Um anyway, I wish I could remember what rooms had like what colored rooms had these things happening, just because the feelings, but also like people's favorite colors I associate with them. So like some people are green, some people are red, some people are like blue, and I just wish that I could see like, oh, now I see like this person who was this color association for me was that horrible haunting. And it's like, oh, that makes sense because they're a horrible freaking person, or like, oh, they traumatized me. It's freaking bad, you know. So just an interesting thought. Um, you know what? Heck it. Let me tell you guys about the hauntings. Let me tell you guys about this freaking bowling alley. You guys. Okay. As far as the history goes, I don't have very much recollection. I know um the bowling alley was ran by these two older couple back in like the either the 50s, 60s, 70s or something like that. Back when photos were black and white still. I'll say that. Back when photos were still black and white, this older couple, like, had the bowling alley, and they both have passed away. I think maybe, like, their kid took it over, and then he sold it to the person who sold it to us, maybe? Maybe. I'll have to ask my parents about it, but it was a 8-lane bowling alley, very, very old equipment, definitely not up to date, but good enough. It all worked. Um, and, eventually, after a couple years, my parents purchased the building next to it it was on, like, a strip of a block, so it was not one building, but if you didn't know any better, you might have thought it was all one building, and then they just, like, built walls in between to make the separate buildings, but it was one big strip, and it was the bowling alley, it was this middle building, and then it was, and it had some apartments above, this building was originally, like, an apartment down below, but before that, it was an appliance store or something kinda like Ace. It wasn't like Lowe's where you could buy a fridge and a stove and, like, appliances, but it was like a hardware store, that's what it is. It was a hardware store, I think originally, before it was turned into an apartment down below, but then, like, there's apartments above it, and then next to it was a church, and then next to that was, I think, like, an insurance office, like, maybe health insurance or car insurance, something, and then next to that was a car dealership. That's how I remember it going. I could be wrong, but I know those, um, offices, stores were there. There might have been more, like 1 or 2 more, but I'm pretty sure that's all that was there. Anyway, so we, mom and dad purchased this apartment building kind of that's next to it. So they busted a hole in the wall so that way we can go from the bowling alley to this apartment because they turned it into like a little dining room. It was a dining room, it was a game room, and then there was a bowling pro shop, and then behind that was the office. So they put a hole in the wall so we can go from one building to the next building without having to go outside, out and around. So I remember I was up in the bowling alley side and I was vacuuming. It's end of the night, we've closed, nobody's there. Um, I think my sister, I don't quite remember where she was. She might have been downstairs with mom and dad, or she might have been in the office, like sleeping because it was so late. Either way, I was alone on the bowling alley side. And I'm vacuuming around the tables and stuff. Like we're closed for the night. We're like cleaning up and going home. Mom and dad were downstairs doing inventory. Either doing inventory or putting away like dry goods and stuff. Either way, they were downstairs, and downstairs is where we kept most of our product, whether it's like cups, lids, takeout containers, or like we had some fridges down there that held like dressings and extra produce and extra meat and stuff. Okay. So I'm vacuuming and I kind of look up and I'm looking down the lanes. Now the part over the approach in the lanes, that's all turned off. So, but the part over the tables and the sitting area for the bowlers at the approach, it's all lit. So it's not like pitch black, it's not completely dark, but it's lit up on my side and it's dark over the lanes. And lane 1 is up against a wall. It's like the worst lane to have to bowl on because usually there's like a walkway or like a few feet of room between the first lane and the wall. And that's not the case here. It's only the gutter length, and that's only the size of a bowling ball. So, lane 1, all the way on the left, super horrible. I'm looking down. I'm just vacuuming, minding my own business in my own world, staring off into space, frequently looking back down to make sure I'm sucking up stuff, but looking up, looking around, whatever. And I'm looking down the lanes and I see this tall, um, basically, I don't, it's not exactly a whole shadow figure, but it's kind of like a shadow blob. Like, it's about as tall as a man, like an adult man, maybe like between 5'10" and 6'2". That's maybe about an average height of a man, about as tall as a man, and you can kind of, it's got a very vague outline of a shadow. So it's like, okay, that part is the head and I can kind of tell where it comes out for shoulders, but then it just kind of blobs down. Like it's like if you drew a circle and then kind of indented here and here for the shoulders, and then we bring it kind of down to a point to show that the feet. That's kind of like what it is. That's the best way I can explain it. A very blobby, like out of focused. That's what it is. Like when you take your glasses off and everything's very blobby, that's like what it is. A very out of focused shadow man, which for the record, I have had glasses since I was a second grader, and I definitely had my glasses on for this. I see Shadow Man Blob kind of poke his head out from the wall. Like he's on the other side of the wall on and he's just poking his head out just to kind of see like, oh, like is anyone going? Is anyone bowling? Like making sure he's not getting in the way of anyone. He pokes his head out, he goes back, and then he steps through the wall. So he is standing on lane 1. I see this. He is walking across lane 1, steps over the gutters from lane 1 into lane 2, and he's walking, steps over the gutters from 2 into 3, and between 3 and 4, if I remember correctly, that is where the it's the poles, the really big stabilizing poles. The structure poles, like to keep, these are the poles that like keep the roof up from collapsing. They're the God, I wish there's like an official term for this and I can never think of anything when I need it. Anyway, it's like the structurally sound weight-bearing poles. So not only do we have to have room for the ball to go down, but we have to have extra room for the pole. So it's a pretty big step. For some, like Mr. Shadow Man, it was a little bit of like a little hop. So he steps over 1 into 2, walks, steps over 2 into 3, walks, kind of hops over that. And then he freezes, and I'm just watching all of this. So it's almost like maybe he didn't even like see me. He freezes, and then he dashes across the rest of the lanes. He just like into the other wall. I was terrified. Absolutely. I stopped vacuuming and I ran downstairs. And mind you, I freaking hate going into the basement because the basement is 100% haunted. You could not tell me otherwise. I hated going to the basement alone. I would have to like talk my sister into coming down with me because I was so scared. But because she either A was really scared, didn't want to show it, or B, she just really did not give a crap about my fears as a child growing up. She was like, no, Christina, I'm not coming down there with you. And I'm like, dude, please, I have to go down. We'll make it really fast. You know, I'm super duper scared. And she's just like, no, fuck you. And I'm like, okay, great, cool, thanks. Anyway, regardless, I hate going to the basement. So for me to run into the basement because that's where mom and dad are at, oh my God, I was terrified. And I don't remember what I did. I don't even remember if they remember me telling this story because it's just been so long. But like, that is one ghost story that just sticks with me. And I could never forget. I remember kind of seeing like, and I thought like at first my eyes were playing tricks on me. Like, surely I didn't just like see a shadow head pop out of the wall at the same height in which a average tall, built man would be standing. Like, oh, because I'm like, God, like my eyes play tricks on me like all the time. You know when you kind of just stare off into the distance and you just keep staring and then your eyes just like morph because you've been staring at it for so long, like your brain needs to change it so it just starts morphing. I thought that's what was going on. I thought I was just staring off into space for so long while vacuuming that my eyes started playing tricks. But then, like, I kinda, like I came to, I came into my consciousness, and I blinked, and I, like, you know, okay, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is not my brain playing a trick on me, Jesus fucking Christ." It was, oh my god. It was scary. That shit scared me bad. And then from then on, I hated being upstairs alone. If I did, I wanted the music to be playing because, music deters ghosts from doing things. Or I wanted someone else to be there because, having two people in a room deters ghosts from doing anything. I had as many lights on all the time that I could because, having the lights on deters the ghosts from doing stuff. So it was, ugh, creep, creep. The amount of times I have been downstairs and have heard something. I think I think my brain has blocked out so many things that the only one I can really remember is the one time a wrench dropped. Now, look, it's been on the fence. And I feel like my dad had to gaslight me on this, or else I wasn't gonna go back in the basement ever for anything ever again. Um, I feel so strongly that I was right about this, but of course, like, for the sake of, like, running a business, he needed to gaslight me, so I'm not mad, but I do still feel like I was right about this. So I remember being downstairs, and I was downstairs, I was probably, like, breaking down boxes, putting food product away, whatever, and I remember just doing my stuff. Now, mind you, this place is super duper old, okay? So, like, some of the cork walls that hold, like, tools and stuff are built coming down from the ceiling, which is the floor of the bowling alley. Because, if you're in the basement, the ceiling of the basement is the floor of the bowling alley, okay? So, they're not built to stand on the ground going up, they're built, like, hanging from the ceiling. So, on an old wooden bowling alley floor, if there's a lot of people, a lot of movement, there's a lot of shaking, the balls hitting the ground and rolling, the pin setters are doing their thing. There's a lot of movement, so things can fall. However, I am extremely sure that I'm not misremembering this part. There was nobody bowling. There was nobody, like, there's probably people eating, you know? But and maybe there was a bowler, but this was not Thursday night men's league. This was not crazy hot bopping, people stomping, heavy 15, 16-pound balls hitting the lanes and rolling down. This was like an average regular day. I remember being back there and I remember hearing a wrench fall. It fell off of a counter and hit the floor, and the floor is cement. Um it was a metal to cement sound. And first of all, the counters, the workbench tables are not connected to the ceiling. That is just sitting on the floor. So really no sort of vibration should be doing that because the walls cement. It's a hole in the ground. So the walls are cement, the floor is cement, the beams are cement. Realistically, anything that is sitting on this cement floor is not vibrating from the commotion of a bowling alley above it, okay? It would have to have a commotion from like an earthquake for anything to fall because it's all just a huge cement cell block down there, okay? I, to this day, think a ghost knocked a wrench off of a workbench down there. And I was the only one down there. I heard it. I dropped what I was doing and I ran upstairs and I said, I cannot finish that, not unless someone else comes down there with me. Because hell to the frickin' no. Like, oh my god. Someone just posted something on TikTok. If I'm in the middle of sharing like a very personal ghost story and my phone just vibrated, that I about peed my pants. Oh, because I'm in, like, that spooky state of mind of, like, "Ooh," and, like, my hairs are on edge because I just ugh. But my dad, ugh. my dad totally gaslit me and was like, "No, no, it's just the vibrations, stuff happens." But, like, again, as I said before, I don't blame him because, like, if I'm ever gonna go back down there, you have got to make me believe that it was not a ghost. Oh my gosh. I know that other people have had experiences, like, in the back, because 'cause we've had a couple guys who have helped us, like, mechanically. They just, like, sit in the back of the bowling alley where, like, the pin setters are, and they just, like, wait for, like, the little things to happen because they're really old pin setters, so oops, sometimes a belt might get stuck, just oop, get a little extra oil, and it's good. Or oops, one of the pin conveyor belt arms might get stuck on its track, or maybe oops, a pin gets stuck in the wheel backwards and so it can't come out properly. Like little things, nothing that like a bolt like is broken and oh my god, you need a whole new one. But enough where it's like, hey, it'd be really helpful if we just have a guy that sits back here. I am so sure some of them have had experiences of like hearing disembodied voices and stuff. Um, I will have to ask my parents if they can send in some of their ghost stories. I know that there was an investigation done also. There we had a local paranormal team come and like do a I it, it might have been 3 nights. I thought it was 1 night. I think I thought it was 1 night and then mom was like, "No, it was 3 nights." And I was like, "Oh." Because so in the back, so on that dining room side that had, like, the game room and the pro shop and the office, there's a back door in the back of the game room, and if you go through that, if you go straight, there's a garage back there. None of the lights work in the garage, and there's a creepy little bathroom back there. It's the creepiest freaking thing, but there is a garage back there. It was full of the old owner's crap and stuff, so my parents really didn't do anything with it, but we had access to a garage. But if you close the door and turn left, there's a little hallway. And your only option is to, when you get to the end of the hallway, is turn right and go up the stairs. And there was like the rest of the apartment. Because like the downstairs was the hardware store, which was turned into an apartment. So theoretically, like, it could have been more like a townhouse, have, like, a nice big living area, like a formal living area and, like, your kitchen and, you know, maybe, like, a reading room or something, and then, go upstairs, and that's, like, where the bedrooms are or something. I don't know. I've never been upstairs. Mom and dad have always said that it was, like, full of crap and whatever, and it's just, like, they don't need that room or space anyway, so they didn't bother with, like, messing around with it or anything, but I'm pretty sure, like, the investigators went up there and walking around and they got, like, some pretty creepy stuff. So, I, eesh. Ugh, just talking about it gives me the heebie-jeebies, and it's so weird because, like, the bowling alley and growing up was, like, such a big part of my life, like, having that really kind of is what made me into the person who I am today, really, you know? Having those experiences and growing up like that has molded me, which of course, like, duh, Kristana, the way you grow up is gonna mold you into how you are an adult. I know, but I don't regret it. I want it said here, and I want my parents to understand, and that I wholeheartedly mean it. Excuse me. I don't regret it, and so I don't want them to regret it either as parents. They are only allowed to regret the decision as business owners, but as parents, I don't want them to regret that decision that they made to raise their family in a bowling alley as business people, you know? So, I feel like I really, like, kinda came out on top because of it in the world of having a career. So, but anyway, so yeah, um thank you, unanimous number 1, for sending in that very interesting, dream email. Definitely loved it. I can't wait for you to write it in the future if you have other dreams that come true eventually, or like if you just have other dreams where you're like, ooh, maybe this will turn into something. That would be really fun. Um, if anyone has any interesting dreams or any ghost stories, send them in. I want to hear them. I want to share them. Like this stuff, ooh, puts me on, especially hearing other people's stories. That's really what it was for me. That's what it is for me. Like I have my own, yeah, and they like give me the heebie-jeebies, but like hearing yours, ooh, spine tingling. So, um, let's see. Is there anything I'm missing? What is it? What is today? It's the third week. Um, Next week is the week we're going into is the last full week of the month. So my next episode I think will kind of be the May monthlies. Um, I'm trying to get a better system. I'm trying to get a better template because I know some of my episodes I kind of go on a tangent, which is kind of the point of a blog, which oh gosh, I'm not upset. I get it. I'm behind in the game, but I really thought I was going to coin the term a a blog cast because that's kind of really what this is it's a blog cast. And I know it's not for everyone, but for those who do sit and listen or just play it in the background of their days and stuff, I'm so super appreciative of that. Like I don't think you know how much that actually means to me. It means a lot. Even if you're not really actually paying attention. If you're just using me as like a body double in a way. Um, so yeah. Um, I also want to shout out my boyfriend because he as much as he is believing in me and pushing me and is like, "Babe, like this is your thing, go out and do it." He's also like giving me the space to do it in the sense of like he's not like, "Okay, babe, like don't forget to go do this," or "Come on, you got to make sure like you hit this follower count or something." He's just like, "That's your thing. Go do it. Go have fun." So, I just want to shout out my boyfriend, Josh, for being so super supportive in this for me, and I am very thankful to have him, um, you know, because I don't know if I would actually be out here doing this if it wasn't for him. So, round of applause for my boyfriend and just how awesome and supportive that he is. So, thank you, Josh. I love you. Also, for you guys. Ooh, send in your shout outs. Do you guys have any like love messages you want to send? Is there anyone who you're like, babe, like you should listen to this episode of this podcast? There's like a little surprise at the end. If there's like anyone that you want me to shout out, write into me. I will totally shout them out. Oh my gosh, what if somebody wrote in and asked me to propose for them? That would be such a dream. What an email that would be. Oh my gosh. I would love that. Make that a dream for me in the next 5 years. Somebody do that. Somebody listen to this podcast. Somebody write in and say, okay, on this episode, when it comes out on this date, put put in the end, hey babe, I love you so much. Will you marry me? What? That'd be cool. Anyway. Vision board 2027. Anyway. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great morning. And we will see everybody here next week.